Now, a startling report by the World Health Organization warns that Britain will be the Europe's
spit it out.
What's in your mug today?
country. I got it there in the end.
You've got gin in that cup.
I have got gin in that cup, don't tell anyone. We're going to be the fattest country in Europe within a decade, and they're blaming it on the rise of fast food delivery apps. Now, we're used to health warnings on things like cigarette packets, so should these apps come with something similar, perhaps, Carol?
Yeah, because that will solve the problem, wouldn't it? A few words. Oh, do you know what? I've never, ever, ever in my whole life used one of those delivery companies to get food. Never, not once. And if that is the reason that we're going to be the fattest country in Europe, was it, or the world?
We will be Europe. At the minute, we are now the fattest country in Western Europe, I think.
Right.
But Turkey is ahead of us, but we're about to overtake Turkey in the next decade.
But if the reason is because of those apps and takeaway food and everything else, then I 100% blame the government, because they were like drug pushers during the last 2 years, during the pandemic and the lockdowns and everything. The way they kept all the takeaways open, they kept all the fast food places open, they kept all of those open. They shut the gyms and they shut other things that were, you know, that were probably helpful to people's health. Now, I can kind of understand why people have got addicted to this kind of behaviour. Just sitting at home, being paid to sit at home and just not even cooking food, going shopping, ordering food on an app. And I find it really worrying and really quite disturbing, because it's a really hard habit to break.
Could I just say, though, is it perhaps that you not use them because you live a lot of the time in France? Because it's a whole different culture there, isn't it?
Well, I wouldn't use them anyway. It is a whole different culture there. There just isn't that kind of demand for it. Because here, right, when I'm in London and I go to a restaurant, it's empty of customers, but there's a queue of those, you know, bikers outside. I'm not going to mention their names because I don't want to give them any publicity, because I literally loathe them.
It's not their fault.
Well, no, it's not.
Bikers,
No, I don't hate the biker men. I don't hate the biker men. I hate the idea that that is the way people behave now. They order food, it gets delivered on a bike, and they stay at home all the time. You know, you need to get out. Businesses are dying. You need to get out there and socialise and be human again. It depresses me, like, seriously. How do you stop it?
I know. Clearly.
That feels very strong.
Well, it does.
Does it depress you, Cole?
Not really. Not really. No, I agree. I mean, there are people... the money side of it, for one thing, but because they are very expensive. But I don't agree with it every night, using them every night. But, you know, we've done it, especially during lockdown, where probably in lockdown twice a week, but definitely once a week now, there's always that, or is it takeaway night, and you get it delivered. I mean... I thought everyone did that, so I think you might be on your own there. Well, no, not you totally, but I also
but we're not becoming the
people...
world's or Europe's biggest, fattest thing by one takeaway a week, are we?
No,
it's
constant
routine.
A friend told me the other day about her daughter ordering a coffee from one of those coffee places and getting it delivered. You know, like, I mean, that's just... how worrying is
Do you think when you were a
mean,
teenager, maybe you probably would have... If it was around, you would have done the same thing?
I wouldn't.
Do you order food on apps?
We do sometimes, not loads. Like, we've only just got it where we live. So I actually was quite excited when it came, although most of the options on there are quite rubbish. So there's a lot of places that won't deliver it to us anyway, and I'm actually... thankful for that, because it means I can't be as lazy as I want to be. But I have 100% since lockdown, I leave my house less. I socialise less.
Oh, I think everyone does,
and there has to be something that really makes me leave my home. So I do think there is, like, a general issue in that. I don't think it's just these food apps' faults. I think it has come out of a situation.
Do you think the warnings would work?
No. Why would it work? People have them on smoking packets and people still smoke. And also, let's not act like everyone...
But
I think
also
it's
remember...
a bit of insulting. People know a takeaway is unhealthy, surely.
I know, but also let's think about there are people out there, and especially now, because there's a lot of working families, you know, or single-parent families, and the mum or dad's at work all day. You know, they haven't got time then to go shopping for food or whatever. So the easiest thing is to just... And they don't always have to be unhealthy. There are healthy delivery places as well. And for people who can't physically get out, I mean, I think it's a great thing for people that can't get out.
That is the minority. I mean, the popularity of these things are... Like you said, you're right, Jane, it's not a culture in France. People just don't do it. They go out, they go to restaurants, cafes, bars. I mean, in the cities, they do have the delivery, or they cook, yeah, fresh. There's markets everywhere. But here, I mean, the rise of it probably has got something... It will fuel the obesity epidemic, absolutely no doubt.
And that, of course, in turn, will then become for want of a better word, a huge issue for the NHS. Because the NHS is that has to pick up the pieces from that. So in terms of talking about how society is sort of staying in more and becoming more distant, so